So in the previous lecture, we all have seen the definition of evaporation. That was, it is a process of removal of solvent from the solution by boiling the liquid in a suitable vessel and withdrawing the vapors, leaving a concentrated product, generally concentrated liquid. Then now we will see the applications of evaporation. So basically there are 4 applications. That is, 1. Evaporation process is used in the manufacture of bulk drugs, particularly in pharmaceutical industries and chemical industries. So bulk drugs meaning bulk API, that is active pharmaceutical ingredient. So whenever synthesis takes place of any drug, that is your API, so that time you can have evaporation process to remove excess water, excess organic solvents that were used in the synthesis of the drug. Second application, evaporation is used in the manufacture of biological products, that is insulin, enzymes and hormones. Then in demineralization of water, and also the another use is for the production of food products. So for different food products, herbal products also we use evaporation as a process. Now we will move on to factors affecting evaporation. Okay. So first temperature, then temperature and time of evaporation, temperature and moisture content, types of products, effect of concentration, surface area, vapor pressure of the liquid to be evaporated. There are even other factors like density, concentration. So we will see various factors affecting evaporation. So we will see the factors one by one. First, temperature. So as you all can understand, the rate of evaporation is directly proportional to temperature. That is, if the temperature of the heating is kept high, that is, for evaporation we have to heat the solution or heat the mixture. So if the temperature is high, rate of evaporation would be faster. Second, surface area. Now this is also similar, that is, rate of evaporation is directly proportional to surface area of the vessel exposed to evaporation. So bigger the vessel exposed, bigger the area of the solution exposed, so rate of evaporation would be faster since the surface area would be more. Third, agitation. Agitation is necessary for evaporation, and also more amount of agitation and all you all produce, so faster would be the evaporation rate. Next, atmospheric aqueous vapor pressure. The rate of evaporation is inversely proportional to the atmospheric aqueous vapor pressure. That is, more the amount of vapor pressure is present in the atmosphere, that is vapors, and their pressure is more in the atmosphere, so lower would be the rate of evaporation. This can also be understood that the vapor pressure in your solution should be more so as to have good rate of evaporation. But if atmospheric aqueous vapor pressure is more, then rate of evaporation would be slower. You can better understand this by this equation which is expressed mathematically. Okay, that is m is equal to Ks upon P in the bracket B minus B dash. That is, m is equal to mass of vapor formed per unit time. That is your rate of evaporation. Now it depends on all those things in the RHS. Okay, so K is constant, S is surface area of the liquid exposed, P is atmospheric pressure. Hence I have told ki atmospheric pressure, vapor pressure has to be low to have good rate of evaporation. Whereas when you see B is what? Maximum vapor pressure at the temperature of air. So when your solution vapor pressure is greater, that is favorable. But when your atmospheric vapor pressure is more, then it is a problem. And when you have B minus B dash, that is the vapor pressure in your solution is more, so you can have good concentration gradient or vapor pressure gradient. Sorry. So vapor pressure gradient meaning difference in vapor pressure in your solution and in the atmosphere. So more is that there would be better rate of evaporation. Okay, when you will read it from the book, you will understand it better. That, see here, rate of evaporation is directly proportional to the vapor pressure of the liquid. Liquid meaning your substance which has to be, from which you have to evaporate something, that is water or solvent or anything. So what is written? See, the lower the P value was in denominator. So the P value, so greater would be the evaporation. If your P value is low, what does that mean? Lower the external pressure, lower the boiling point of the liquid, and hence greater will be the rate of evaporation. meaning the external pressure that has been exerted by the vapors outside atmospheric air. So if that is low, better would be rate of evaporation in your solution. So this condition is achieved by applying vacuum, so that you don't allow the external pressure to have influence in your solution, that is under evaporation. See the third paragraph, that also explains it very clearly. If the outer atmosphere is dry, that is in your vacuum conditions, the value of B dash. What is B dash? B dash is actual vapor pressure of your liquid outside. So if B dash will be low, hence there would be greater evaporation. So if the outer atmosphere is dry, you will have greater evaporation. Further, it also explains very clearly, if the vapor of the liquid is removed as soon as it is formed, that is under reduced pressure or vacuum, the space above the liquid does not become saturated with vapors, and hence evaporation proceeds faster. See the next factor here, fourth one, time of evaporation. Exposure time is longer, more will be the evaporation. So more time exposed for evaporation, more would be the evaporation attained. Next factor, density. So higher the density, slower the liquid evaporates. That is, for example, you have kept some dosage form like viscous solutions like ointment, or we can say cream or something like that, or a very denser fluid, that is syrup or something, from which you have to remove excess water. So the rate of evaporation would be slow, since the solution that you have kept is dense. Your next point is also similar to that, concentration. Low concentration of substance, faster the evaporation. It is similar. You have higher concentration like that in syrup, so the evaporation would be slow. And if you have low concentration of the substance like clear solutions, that time faster would be the evaporation. Next factor, film and deposits. Some solutions deposit solid materials called scale on the heating surfaces. That is, some things evaporate, like you may have seen in your round bottom flask or in chemistry practicals. Certain things on evaporation forms scale on the heating surface itself. So that will result in overall heat transfer coefficient, which decreases that. Coefficient gets decreased and evaporator must be cleaned, meaning your rate of evaporation decreases due to that scale formation. Then foaming or frothing. Food solutions such as skim milk and some fatty acid solution form a foam or froth during boiling. So if substances forms foam or froth, that will also decrease the rate of evaporation. Certain substances, complex substances, becomes a hindrance in the process of evaporation. And the last factor, you can see economic factors. The recovery of the solvent and utilization of waste heat are also important, as they involve considerable reduction of cost. So you have to see whatever recovery of solvent was done, or whatever heat was utilized, the waste that was removed, everything adds to the economy of the usage of your evaporator that you are using. So maintenance, choosing the evaporator according to the substance, that is all taken into consideration, also considering this economy factor. But other factors are more important, which will favor the rate of evaporation. Economic factor is also important, since money is considered while selecting the evaporator. Okay, now these two terminologies are very important to be remembered. What is economy of the evaporator and what is capacity of the evaporator? These are two terminologies which would be used further on when we would be studying one evaporator in detail. So look at it clearly and note down these terminologies. One is economy. Economy of an evaporator is the total mass of water vaporized per unit mass of steam input to the evaporator. So sometimes it is written economy of the evaporator was less or more. So what is that? Economy means total mass of water vaporized per unit mass of steam input. That is, steam was put as an you can say input to generate pressure, to generate vapor pressure for your evaporation process. So how much amount of water gets evaporated per unit mass of steam? So total mass of water vaporized per unit mass of steam input that was used for your vapor pressure generation. So that is economy. Whereas what is capacity? Capacity of an evaporator is the amount of water vaporized in the evaporator per unit time. So capacity is related to time. It is the amount of water vaporized. See, above also it was total mass of water vaporized. Here it is amount of water vaporized in the evaporator per unit time. So now, after studying the basics of evaporators, definition, factors affecting, uses, applications, we'll move on to classification of evaporators. Classification, you all do it from the book itself. You have 5 evaporators in your syllabus. So what is the classification? First broad classification is evaporators with heating medium in jacket. That is, if you have jacketed kettles, like you have at home also, sometimes you have certain machines which have another coating in which you can put water as a heating medium. So here evaporator with heating medium in jacket. So example is steam jacketed kettle, meaning steam, that is water is put in the jacketed media, that is outside coating. So example is evaporating pan. The instrument uses evaporating pan. Second broad classification, you have 2 broad classes only. Then in the second you have various other classification, further classification. So second is vapor heated evaporators with tubular heating surfaces. So tube shaped heating surfaces. So in that A, evaporators with tubes placed horizontally. So example of the apparatus is horizontal tube evaporator. B, evaporator with tubes placed vertically. So in that you have again further classification. Evaporators with short tubes. First is single effect evaporators. The name of the evaporator is short tube vertical evaporator. Short tube vertical evaporator with propeller. Basket type evaporator. Then in this evaporator with short tube, B is multiple effect evaporator, and that is important in your syllabus. Multiple effect evaporator is asked many times and it is widely used also in industries. Then second is evaporators with long tubes. So in this you have evaporators with natural circulation. So first one is climbing film evaporator. This one is there in your syllabus to be studied in detail. Falling film evaporator works opposite to climbing film, but this is not there in your syllabus now. Earlier it was there. And B is evaporators with forced circulation, and the name of the evaporator is also forced circulation evaporator. Each equipment, each evaporator we will be studying in detail from the next lecture.